Okay, so my research proposal is called Why Not STEM? And so what I'm asking is, why are students not choosing to enter into STEM careers? So here's the current crisis. In coming years, there's going to be a predicted shortage of 1 million STEM majors. Realizing this crisis, President Obama has initiated several things. He had Educate to Innovate, and it was to encourage 100 CEOs to invest in STEM education. He had 100,000 attend. The goal here was to educate 100,000 STEM teachers by 2021. Equal Futures Partnerships was to get women in internships for STEM careers and increase the number of women in STEM careers. Annually, he has the White House Science Fair, and just in February of 2016, he has allocated $3 billion to STEM education. So here's the problem. In 2003 and 2004, there was a study done, and they realized that 28% of bachelor students and 20% of associate degree students entered a STEM major. That's a small percentage there. And in 2009, 48% of the bachelor's degree students and 69% of associate's degree students that had entered a STEM major dropped out or left college altogether. So there were 3 studies done. These studies encompassed 87,500 students. It found that 37% of students completed a STEM degree, a degree in the STEM field. So they surveyed students who had decided to drop out of a STEM major, and these were some of the reasons that they cited as not staying: class size, teaching skills of teachers, and program quality. So what it messaged to the students was, when the university controlled those things, put them in appropriate class size, increased the teaching skills of the teachers, that it showed that the university valued that program. The other thing was the grades in the gateway or introductory courses. There was a study done that those that failed those courses actually dropped out. And then the other problem with STEM majors was that the students felt like they had worked harder or done more work, and the grades did not reflect the work that they had put in. So then it caused them to question, am I in the right field? An interesting fact is that although minorities are underrepresented in STEM careers, minorities actually are equally likely to choose a STEM career as their white male counterparts. However, they're more likely to switch or drop out of a STEM field. They listed that teachers, when surveyed, they listed that teachers appeared arrogant, unavailable, and unapproachable. Interestingly, there was a study done with teachers on the same reasons as the students, and there was some common themes. So the teachers were experienced STEM faculty, and they were asked open-ended questions. The themes that they found was that they listed that faculty were also unwelcoming, and the class had an unwelcoming environment. There were large class sizes, and they said that high school students were academically unprepared in math and science. And insufficient support in instructional methodology, meaning they didn't know how to teach the math and science for STEM majors. So my question is, we know that students are dropping out of STEM majors. So how do we get more to go in? What's going on? Why aren't students choosing to enter into the STEM fields? So if you look at this stat again, that 28% of bachelor's degree and 20% of associate's degree students had declared a STEM major in 2003 and 2004. So I have 3 questions here. Are there perceptions about STEM majors versus non-STEM majors that are affecting this decision? What are the students' perceptions that are affecting those other than interest? And are there perceptions of STEM majors that influence the student's decision to choose? So are there perceptions? What are the perceptions of STEM and non-STEM? And other than interest, what could be affecting it? Meaning that I can say that I'm interested in engineering, but is there a perception of an engineering major that would cause me not to choose it and go another direction? So according to the the study here, they identified STEM careers, and here's how they identified them as mathematics, physical sciences, biological and life sciences, computer and informational science, engineering and engineering technologies, and science technologies. So when I refer to STEM majors, these are the fields that they can choose, or students can choose. So what I would like to do as my research is that first I would like to consider high school juniors, high school seniors, and undeclared college students. I would first like to send out a survey that asks them about their STEM major, STEM perceptions of STEM majors, meaning I would ask questions of what do you think a STEM major would require you to do? What do you think a STEM career includes? Would you be interested in a STEM career? And let those be open-ended questions. Once that data is collected, I would look for themes. For instance, yes, I would be interested because, no, I would not be interested because. STEM majors are rigid, or they're, they don't work with others well, just any kind of themes that we can see. After that, I would take those statements and put this in a quantitative type survey in which there would be courses listed as A and B. It would be unnamed as STEM or non-STEM. Students would look at the courses and say, this course A seems easier, course B seems easier. Course A seems like it would have better teachers, course B seems like it would have better teachers. Course A looks more interesting, course B looks more interesting. And asked to choose which field they would be most interested in and which field they would be more likely to choose. So after the survey would be developed, I would have to do a pilot study to make sure that the questions that I'm asking are garnering the responses that I'm looking for. So the surveys will be sent out by email for campuses that have access to email, or paper copies. The idea here would be that I could also put it in something like SurveyMonkey and send out the link that students could do the open-ended and the Likert scale items. Of course, I would gain consent to survey because some of these students will be under the age of 18, so I would have to get parental consent to survey. Also, I would have to include information as why I'm doing the study and how to get a hold of me if they have any questions. So there are several ways to analyze this. As of right now, I would use a crosstabs method to compare gender and grade to questions involving coursework. The chi-squared test would be conducted to see if there's a relationship between variables. Likert scale items will be analyzed with the chi-squared test, and ANOVA test will be used to determine significance among grade and perceptions of STEM careers and gender and perceptions of STEM careers, meaning did the girls find STEM careers less interesting? Did boys find STEM careers more interesting? Did the coursework seem harder to girls than boys, or harder to boys than girls? And so it'll be used to compare gender and grade to ranking of reasons to choose a college major. So again, this talks about the coursework and rankings of reasons to choose a college major. If there's a strong correlation between those who did not choose interest as their number one, so I'm not looking at interest being the number one, and the reason to choose a college major, then those who identify perceptions of STEM majors, the null hypothesis would be rejected. Are there any questions?
What led you to this topic? What made you decide that this is something you wanted to study?
Well, being a math teacher and on the STEM team, I see that there are kids that come through that are very interested in hands-on learning and science and math, but yet it seems like they're not choosing that degree. So what is going on, and what can we do as secondary teachers to encourage those students? Or are there perceptions that, and are there perceptions that we need to address? Are there things that, misconceptions or thoughts that are untrue that are clouding that decision to choose a STEM career?
One of the things that I found interesting was talking about the things that President Obama is currently trying to do. How were these 100 CEOs chosen, and have we got any data back about the effectiveness of the things that he's kind of put in place?
He encouraged the CEOs to invest, and if you go to the White House website, there's a list of the investors and the CEOs that chose to invest with him. As of yet, I have not seen the data back on those initiatives.
One more question. In the 100K and 10, has that been distributed to the state level money-wise, or, I mean, do we know where that went?
there are all kinds of initiatives with that have distributed money to the state level. And it was also in the Race to the Top funds for state education. So that money has been distributed for schools to implement those programs. All right, thank you all.